Well, hello and welcome to the Bumper to Bumper podcast. I am Dave Riccio. I'm here along with John Riggle, and together we are helping you with your car questions, car concerns. Feel free to message us, comment, like and subscribe. Stay in the know when it comes to auto repair stuff. And John, I was thinking today, let's go with the top 5 do-it-yourselfer projects for your car.
Okay.
When I grew up, I learned to work on cars because I fixed it myself because I took it to the auto shop and I'm like, they want what for that?
Yeah.
And I found out I could go to the auto parts store and I could get a set of brake pads or whatever money was, and I can go home and we call it a pad slap now when someone does it.
Yeah.
But I could go home and do brakes, and I thought I was so smart and so special because I saved all the money. But there are good do-it-yourselfer projects, and top 5 most common. Give me number 1.
Well, that's probably going to be the oil change. That's the one that most people want to take on themselves for some reason. I don't understand it, but
Yes, the oil change, and I did before I worked in an auto shop. I did oil changes myself, and you got to go down the shop. You got to buy the oil, or go down the auto parts. Got to buy the oil. Got to buy the filter, and then you got to find something to do with that oil when you're done.
yeah.
So by the time you mess with everything, and it's good.
And generally, if you're doing it at home and you're laying on the back, it has the potential for being one of the worst, nastiest jobs you've ever had in your life. If you inadvertently pull that plug out and miss the pan, you drop the filter. It's just one of those jobs that at home makes zero sense to me because you can get oil changes. I mean, that's the one thing that this industry has devalued to the point where it has a minimal amount of value to it.
It's the lost leader for most auto shops. I mean, even when it's full price, we're still losing money on it.
Yeah. So, if you're a perfectionist and you want it done, I mean, you want a torque wrench on the drain plug bolt and, you want the excess oil cleaned up and stuff, and you have those skills and stuff, fine, go for it. Do it.
Engineer's the personality wants to do his own
But if
oil
you're
change.
doing it because you think you're saving money, you may not be.
No.
You may actually pay more than if you went to a shop and had it done.
Work some overtime, beat
on
the
one
same
of
difference.
the specials and stuff. Yeah, they're going to try to sell you everything in the world because it is a lost leader. But you can always say no.
Right.
I don't want the oil change. That's all I want.
Yep.
Leave me alone. So that one would be lower on my list of things for do-it-yourselfers to try to do. But by the same token, it's not overly difficult if you have some skills.
Yeah, if you got some skills.
Yeah.
I got a confession is that I take my car to another shop to get the oil changed.
That's funny. Yeah, that's hilarious.
Shoemakers' kids go without shoes, and it's like I got a customer that's waiting to get their car back. The last thing I want to do is pull my car in, so I just take it down the street, get the oil changed.
I change the oil in my Toyota every year or two, whether it needs it or not.
Yeah, people say, "Oh, is mechanic owned?" No, don't buy it. Don't buy it. The last thing a mechanic wants to do is take care of his car after he's been working on everybody else's car all day long.
That's right.
So so oil changes. So that's a common one. The next one I go with is brakes. That was my first do-it-yourselfer job as a kid. When I was 16 years old, and I didn't have the kind of money they wanted for a brake job at the auto shop, and now I'm working on cars.
I'm still torn on that. That's one of my biggest pet peeves is the fact that the brakes are one of the most important safety systems on the cars, and I don't think the majority of people doing stuff out of their houses actually understand how important they are and how important it is to get them assembled right and use the right quality pieces and how to tell what the right quality pieces are. I mean, sometimes you can't just tell by looking. And so it's difficult. So I don't know. People can do it. Disc brakes are a lot easier than drum brakes. People used to,
Drum brakes
drum brakes. If you didn't have, special drum brake spring pliers and stuff like that, that one can be a little bit of a handful. And, that's when I see them misassembled a lot when the
Brakes are
do-it-yourselfers get a hold of them.
done wrong often. I think we redo brake jobs quite a bit.
Yeah.
The things that, if you're going to do it, things I see that go wrong is on a disc brake job, they don't machine the rotors. I would say for the price of rotors, go ahead, just replace the rotors.
Yeah, but even at that, there's some cars out there now that when you buy these aftermarket rotors, which is usually what people get,
Yeah, I wouldn't do that.
they've been stacked up, on top of each other, and you'll find out that a lot of the rotors right out of the box
Not true.
are not true. They are. You can bolt them on, and in a lot of cases, you need an on-car brake lathe to finish them correctly, get them nice and smooth and straight, and matched to the hub, so we have virtually no run out, because we got to be less than 0.003 of an inch or so. Otherwise, these cars will pick up shutters and shakes out of them.
For sure.
So that kind of limits what you can do, and the results that you'll get from it. So again, brakes, I'm torn on that. I would rather see people get their brakes done by professionals that know what they're doing. That's one that just bothers me.
Right. Well, we've got that guy that's got that yellow Jeep Cherokee, cleanest Jeep Cherokee on the road, right?
Yep.
That guy does a lot of stuff himself, but he's meticulous. He's handy. He researches the 10 ways till Tuesday. Everything he does comes out perfect, and I'm like, dude, go for it. Once in a while, when there's some heavy lifting, he lets us work on the car.
He's the exception, not the rule.
He is the exception, not the rule.
We don't. Yeah, you don't see
that guy very often.
See that very often. No. Mm-mm.
Okay, so brakes. The other one is sensors. Now, I like sensors if you can see them. I think that's where I see people on jobs they want to do versus jobs they don't want to do themselves. So I'm going to give you the example of the mass airflow sensor. Pretty much every car's got one. Goes from the air box where the air filter is. There's usually a snorkel or a hose that goes from that air box to a sensor, mass airflow sensor, and then another piece of hose that goes into the throttle body or the upper intake. Those do go bad. They can be fairly easily diagnosed in certain instances.
In certain failures are easy to spot.
Easy to spot.
Some failures are less so.
So you could probably almost get away with a code diagnostic. Got the code, depending.
And the MAF is the one you have to be careful of, because there are different codes. There's circuit codes, and then there's performance or range or performance codes. The range or performance codes are going to be harder for you to figure out than just a circuit code. And
But sensors in general. But I feel like if people can see it, they're more than happy to take it on. If they can't see it, it's like a starter motors. People are like, change the starter out. Right? Well, now you got a Toyota Tundra and the starter's underneath the intake. Nope.
Yeah.
It's a big job, right?
Yeah.
So, but sensors, crank sensors, there's just different sensors that come into play that people can do themselves.
But this is also where we get into trouble, because all the crank sensors, virtually everything out there that's got a crank sensor in it, when you're done, one way or another, you have to perform a profile correction error or a crank angle relearn or something like that. Now, some of these the cars will do. Ford, for instance, you just take them out, drive them up 40 miles an hour, back out of the gas, and let them decel down a couple of times. They'll do a relearn. But other ones, we have to force the relearn to learn the new characteristics of that sensor that you just installed. So some of these may not be all that. It may be an easy piece to bolt in,
change, but
you may not be done with the job. You may not be able to finish the job until you have a scan tool capable of doing that.
Okay. So, it's the scanner is going to be a big limitation for people in their driveway to do the work.
It is for some things, yeah.
I mean, even going back to brakes, we're just talking about brakes. There's certain brakes where you have to release, you got to go into the computer, you got to release the parking brake so it can expand so you can get the stuff apart.
Yeah.
Right? Without that step, you can't do it.
Yeah. Yeah, and we had the gentleman the other day did his own brakes on his Chevy truck, and I wasn't sure how to reset the mileage reminder for the brakes.
Right.
It was like, okay, So he brought it over. I showed him how to do it with a scanner. But there's a lot of stuff like that where the scan tool has become an integral part of repairing the car. And the problem with that is, until you get into the professional level scan tools, you won't have a lot of capabilities to do a lot of the bidirectional controls and stuff. I guess there's some scanners out there that do pretty good.
But when you say
You know.
bidirectional, so we are talking to the car versus just reading a few codes.
Yeah,
for sure. Okay, so sensors could be one of the DIY projects that goes pretty good. Wipers and bulbs, I think that one's pretty standard if you want to take it on. And once in a while, you find a bulb that is like a 12-hour project to change it out. You got to disassemble the whole front of the car to change out a headlight bulb.
Yeah. Used to be a lot of shops would do bulbs for free and stuff. Those days are long gone. Some of these are a pain in the keister. And the other thing we have to consider on that, there are some cars out there that following a bulb failure, that they will set trouble codes. The body control module or lighting control module or whatever can set codes in some of these cars. In some of these cars, you can have a burnout bulb. You can replace the bulb, but until you clear that trouble code, it won't work for you. So, I see a little less of that now than we did for a while there. It seemed to be real common, and they kind of toned that back down because it was like ridiculous.
Right.
But that's one of the pitfalls you can run into doing something, as simple as that.
Wiper blades. Wiper blades. So bulbs and blades, I'll throw those in the same category. But wiper blades is a good do-it-yourselfer project. Now, the universal wiper blades, I scratch my head when I look at those. I just buy factory wiper blades. I'll buy the refills on my Toyota, slide them in, no big deal.
I'm going to give you one hint here for do-it-yourselfers for a thing on wiper blades that you might want to consider. So when you lift that wiper blade off of that windshield and you pull that wiper blade off of the arm, you may have that arm tilted up, and some of those are spring-loaded, right? So when you flip them up, they'll stay up so you can service them.
Right.
And then you gently lay them back down. Well, here's my tip. Take a fender clever cloth, towel, something, lay on the bottom of that windshield before you pull that arm up and take that wiper off there. Because I've watched guys pull the wiper off, turn around, let go to go get the wiper blade, have that arm come down, crack the windshield.
Yep.
So
just a little do-it-yourselfer pointer. But I'm a big you get a refill. I put factory blades on my car, and people, because that's one of the most common aftermarket parts is the wiper blade.
Yeah.
So, but that's a good one. I don't know what a shop, I don't even know what we would charge as a shop for wiper blades, but they're reasonable to do yourself. I don't see that you need any sort of degree or professional, just got to have a little common sense. You can figure it out.
Yeah, like you say, that reading the directions for the aftermarket adapters and
making
picking
my
the
head
adapters,
spin.
like, oh my gosh, really?
My head spin.
Yeah.
So what are the things that you want to take on? And then lastly, this one is I think is probably it's done wrong often by do-it-yourselfers, but I think it is a way to save yourself $50, $80, whatever it may be. But that's the engine air filter, and then the cabin filter. Those are, and I'm just going to pick numbers. It may be $80 to have a shop do it, or $120 to have a shop do it. You may go find that you can buy that part directly and skip the markup, and you might buy that thing for $10 or $20. Pop the hood. You can probably find a YouTube video on your exact car.
And that was going to be my one stipulation with doing filters. Go find the instructions for doing it and how to do it, and do it that way. So a lot of air filters in place in the car, we've got this big air filter housing. A lot of places, we can unclip them, open them up, and pull the filter out and stuff. But what you'll find is a lot of these, if they have ducts attached to them and stuff, when you go to reinsert it, you may not be able to actually tilt that cover enough to get it in until you actually take the whole housing out of the car and put the filter in on the bench, and then you put the whole housing back in. So it's worth it to go find out how exactly is that filter in your car supposed to be serviced so you don't damage the sealing surfaces on the air cleaner housing. That's the number one thing I see is air cleaner housings broken up and filters that don't fit right or don't
They're
seal
broken or they're cocked. And here's the thing. In Arizona, we got a ton of dust. This is the last place you want to put your air filter in wrong.
Absolutely, yeah.
So,
yeah,
but they'll
totally
come in and
defeats
it's,
the purpose.
the whole thing isn't snapped together right. And it is. Sometimes it is. You got to jimmy with it and just kind of make it work.
And a lot of them are kind of cheesy. A lot of them have these like a sheet metal screw that just runs into a plastic housing, a hole in a piece of plastic. So
$60,000 car, and that's the best they could do.
yeah, and the guy's got his brand new Milwaukee screw gun out, and it just
Strips it out.
strip every one of them. It's like, oh, come on, guys.
For sure. So top five do-it-yourselfer projects: oil changes, brakes, sensors, wiper blades and bulbs, and air filters and cabin filters.
Yeah.
Those things right there. I think beyond that, you start to get yourself into trouble. But then there's people, they just love, I talk to some people, they just love the project. They love learning about it. And with all the YouTube videos out there, there is step-by-step on so many things. But I'll tell you something about the YouTube videos when I'm watching somebody fix something. It's a little bit like watching a fishing show. As a kid, I would watch this fishing show, and these people were always reeling in fish. I'm like, the thing goes out, the fish comes in. But they cut the 2 hours of cruising around the lake where nothing happened. And when the guy's doing the video, man, everything snaps together, pops together. Well, it's not always that easy. I say in auto repair, we're one broken bolt away from a 1-day delay.
Yeah.
You take a bolt out of something and it's broken, you got to drill it out and you got to do all those things. So just be cautious. I mean, what are you trying to do? Enjoy yourself and have a project, because that's kind of fun. There's things I like to fix and just do it.
Yeah.
And there's things I'm just happy to. I ride bicycles a lot. I own 6 of them, and I can certainly fix them. I can figure it out.
Yeah.
I take them into the shop because I don't want to mess with it. I work with tools all day long. Last thing I want to do is come home and work on something.
Yeah.
So anyway, thanks for joining us here on the Bumper to Bumper podcast. We'll see you next time. Well, hello, I'm Dave Riccio, your host of the Bumper to Bumper podcast, and I would like to thank you for tuning in. If you want one of your car questions to be answered on our podcast, tap the link in the description for a chance to have your question featured. And while you are there, we would love for you to like and subscribe to see more Bumper to Bumper podcasts in the future.